The following clip is from the North to South Show, live every Monday and Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we talk SEC football everything. We'd love to have you out next show, but for now, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button, and enjoy this clip. A returning star to a program who it looked like he left. We're talking Arik Gilbert, obviously, big tight end out of Marietta, Georgia. That's where he went to high school, went to LSU, played at LSU last year, but then back in January, I'm pretty sure, I remember making my video. I remember talking about my Florida early prediction show. I had that up, and I talked about Arik Gilbert being on the Florida Gators, which is crazy to think about because just recently he decommits from Florida and then goes off, and it looks like he's going back to LSU right now. So that's what this video or this segment's going to kind of be based around. It looks like Arik Gilbert is going to be returning back to LSU. That is if there's a bunch of multiple different things that need to happen. One, apparently he's got to get his grades up, but right now it certainly looks like if he is going to be playing college football anywhere next year, it is going to be for the LSU Tigers. And we're going to be talking about why that is so significant and why this could be such a huge win for the LSU Tigers going into next season, because there's kind of been this new wave of how the tight end position works and the tight end position functions in an SEC offense or a college football offense in total. And that's kind of credited due to Kyle Pitts and what he did last year at Florida. You see just how worried and just how, what's the word I'm looking for? Just how worried, really worried SEC defensive coordinators were over Kyle Pitts last season, because every time they had to go up against him, you were looking at Kyle Pitts putting up 3 touchdowns a game, connecting with Kyle Trask. Kyle Pitts was a game changer for Florida this year, and if anyone in college football right now is going to be the next Kyle Pitts, it is guaranteed going to be Arik Gilbert coming back to LSU, and this could actually change how LSU's season goes this year. I know it's crazy to talk about just a tight end really determining how a season goes for an SEC team, but honestly, I feel really good about Arik Gilbert, so let's get into it, breaking this down. First of all, Arik Gilbert last year for the LSU Tigers, 35 receptions, 368 yards for 2 touchdowns. I remember he had a big game, his first game against Mississippi State. Now, he did miss a big chunk of games towards the end of the season. LSU, as a program right now, you see LSU go out last year. They were very, very inexperienced, I think, because you lose all the wave of the guys that you had with that national championship team, and it was just hard to replace those guys. But LSU as a program, obviously going from 2019 to 2020, took a huge step back. But you just go on 24/7 Sports, look at all the recruits that LSU is bringing in, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Because I honestly thought last year, offensively, was not the problem for LSU last year. It was the defensive side of the ball. They were not doing well. Well, you go out and you look at some of the recruits. I'm just going to name a few guys for you that LSU is bringing recruits. 5-star guys on the defensive side of the ball. You're looking at Smith, you're looking at Derek Davis, and you're looking at Jacoby Matthews, safety. Those guys are all 5 stars, and LSU was constantly, I'm pretty sure 2021, they were the 3rd overall class. They're at least top 5. And now in the 2022 class, I'm pretty sure currently LSU is sitting at the number 2nd spot in the recruited class overall. So LSU is making progress on the defensive side of the ball, and the offense is there. But I think what the offense is really missing for them to allow themselves to become successful in the next coming seasons is that one guy that makes DCs for SEC defenses, keeps him up at night. That's what you need. You need that guy that will make your whole defense be based around him, because you have no idea how open and everything the offense will become for LSU if they're able to get Arik Gilbert going, and if they're able to get Arik Gilbert to be that guy who's like, we need to cover Arik Gilbert no matter what team you're on, whether that's going up against Georgia, whether that's Alabama, whether that's Auburn, whether that's Texas A&M. You need to make sure their DC is most worried about that one guy in your offense more than anyone else, because then you're going to double team him, and then all your attention is going to be forced on that one guy, and that's when you're going to allow yourself to get guys like Davis Price on LSU or get guys like Booty on LSU. Get them going, and then that's when LSU really becomes a really, really good offense, and that's what I think you saw at LSU their championship season. You had a good quarterback out there, which I think LSU has a good quarterback, which we're going to break down their quarterback room and that whole situation in just a second. But they had Justin Jefferson, massive guy who obviously, like, you look at, I'm guessing Jamar Chase is the guy that you're going to say was the biggest weapon on that offense, obviously, other than Joe Burrow. when they're so focused on Jamar Chase, you got Justin Jefferson wide open, which kind of made him, got lots more opportunities and made him become the star he was. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you got Thaddeus Moss, you got Terrace Marshall, so many other guys when you just had that one guy who so many teams were just so constantly worried about. And I think that you can have that scenario with Arik Gilbert if he comes back to LSU next season, or even with the season after that, because remember, he's only a sophomore going into the next season. I'm not saying LSU will be a national championship team ready next season, but I'm talking in Arik Gilbert's junior season, when you have all these defensive recruits come in, when your defense starts to look something like how you wanted, something how it did back in 2019, and your offense is just as high-powered as it was in 2019, that's when you're going to have the opportunities for Arik Gilbert and everyone else on that team to make the big championship run that LSU is going to be looking for, because they have the recruits. The defense is going to be prepared, but I just think Arik Gilbert needs to be that guy on the side of the ball to make defensive coordinators worry. So you look at the quarterback side. I think the quarterback position for LSU is going to be fine over the next couple of years. Right now, it's looking like Miles Brennan is going to be the quarterback for next season. Last year, Miles Brennan threw 1,112 yards for 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and that was just in the 3 games that he played, obviously, before getting hurt after the Missouri game. But then even after Miles Brennan, you look at the future of this LSU quarterback room. TJ Finley, you saw him in the South Carolina game, and then you had Mac Johnson. You see him in his most notable game, the Florida game, which LSU went down to the swamp and took care of business and knocked off the Florida Gators. Max Johnson was throwing some really, really good balls in that game, and they got tons of talent in that quarterback room. You match him up with the offensive talent on this team, especially Arik Gilbert, which is the guy that we're focusing on here, and have that guy who is going to be the beast and be the guy who everyone is going to be worried about. Especially, you did not want him going to Florida next year. Imagine having to worry about Arik Gilbert at Florida. I think LSU could be a really, really, really dangerous team next year if Arik Gilbert comes back and for the next coming years.